Ah, come on now, do it right.
Oh, scrap. Sorry, Tom.
Do it right.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's episode of Medical Watch. This week we will be discussing the tragic case of Mrs. Eileen Doyle. Hello and good evening. Well, this week, as we said, it's the case of Mrs. Eileen Doyle. This is a particularly tragic case because it needn't have happened. It was from sheer neglect that Mrs. Eileen Doyle is now nearly as blind as a bat. It all started 2 years ago when she went to Acton Hospital to have her eyes done.
Dr. Eileen.
Now, Mrs. Doyle, you have been going, you went to see Mr. Mead approximately 2 years ago, is this correct?
That's right.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he said, just looked at my eyes and said, come back in 6 months.
He didn't give you any drops or
No.
treatment, any
No.
treatment whatsoever?
No.
So how did you discover your eyesight had got so bad?
Well, it was on this, I had been to him on the 18th of December, and about a week after, my daughter was over from America visiting me, and I got all of a sudden, these big thick black lines came in front of my eye, going this way and that way and everywhere, and I didn't know what it was. I only knew I couldn't see anything. So she rang up Acton Hospital and couldn't get in touch with Dr. O'Mead anywhere. And the doctor in Acton Hospital advised her to take me to the outpatients over the emergency over in some hospital, eye hospital.
Now, did the doctor at the hospital comment on your eyes?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said they were very bad.
Did he
said
specifically say they'd been neglected?
No. No, he didn't really. He said that they were all bleeding. And then
bleeding eyes, is that what he said?
Bleeding blood vessels all at the back of my eyes. And they were all bleeding and going into a hole.
So what was the outcome of this? What action are you taking?
Well, he said I was to have
No, I mean, what action are you taking? Are you taking any legal action?
Go and have a laser.
No, Mrs. Doyle, you must realise we haven't got that much time. So what I wanted to ask you was, are you taking any legal action?
No, not really.
But I mean, have you complained to anybody about this?
Oh yeah, well I'll give you this letter to read. My daughter she sent it on there. You see how it's all about. Oh no,
Excuse me 1 minute, the phone.
Answer the phone.
Sorry about that interruption. We now continue. So, Mrs. Doyle, this is the letter your daughter wrote to Dr. Hamid.
Yes, so will you read it?
Dear Sir, I am writing to you in regard to my mother, Mrs. Eileen J. Doyle, who has been a patient of yours for the past 2 years. Whilst on a visit to my mother, she had a medical emergency with her eyes. Because you could not be contacted, thank God, Acton Hospital recommended that we take her to Western Automatic for treatment. She had burst blood vessels that bled into the varieties and produced a large blood spot and almost blindness. The doctors and the nurses at the hospital were shocked that her eyes had been permitted to deteriorate so badly today that will arrest the progress of the diabetic process. They recommended immediate laser treatment. They have done one eye and will do the other one shortly. They say there cannot be further delay or she will go completely blind. Thank God for those dedicated nurses and doctors at the Western. It makes me sick to think that the 2 years my mother wasted attending you, for 2 years you have strung her along and told her that there was nothing that could be done. Had she had the laser treatment soon enough, her sight could have been saved and she could be leading a more productive and enjoyable old age. My mother is of the opinion that you did not bother with her because of her age. You apparently have forgotten your Hippocratic oath. In my opinion, you are careless, i.e., to my mother. What am I treating you for? I seem to have lost your records. You are rude, i.e., to my sister, when she asked you a simple question about my mother's treatment. Who do you think you are, a doctor? And you are incompetent, i.e., you do not even know the current treatment for diabetic retinopathy. I think it is time you went back to school and therefore brought yourself up to date on the modern methods of medicine. My mother will not be returning to you for treatment, as the little sight she has left is too precious. I am sending a copy of this letter to the BMA, and I feel that your credentials should be checked. Now that's a very interesting letter,
Yeah.
Mrs. Doyle. Your daughter wrote this letter. Now has she had any comeback on this letter?
Yes, she's had a reply there, it's in your hand there. If you read that letter there,
This-
that's a reply.
Right. Oh, this letter is from C. Walsh, Administrator of Acton Hospital.
Yeah.
Dear Mrs. Nair, thank you for bringing your complaint regarding your mother's treatment to my attention. I am sorry that Mrs. Doyle's condition has worsened to the extent that she requires inpatient treatment at the Western Hospital.
What does that mean?
I hope that she will make a speedy recovery. The serious nature of your complaint is such that I hope you will allow me a few days to interview all the medical staff involved before responding in detail. The Unit General Manager, Mr. John Hubbard, follows the progress of all complaints made to Hammersmith and Acton hospitals, and he will reply to you when he is satisfied with my investigation. I hope that this will be within 1 week. Once again, my best wishes for your mother's health. I hope that the General Manager will shortly be able to give you a full explanation of the facts surrounding your mother's treatment. Oh, Mrs. Doyle,
Yes?
you want us to take some action regarding this matter.
Yeah. I'd like to, save other people. Might save some other people's sight.
Yeah? And what action would you like us to take? Would you rather us go against the hospital or Dr. Mead personally?
Dr. Mead personally.
What would you like to do to him?
I wouldn't like to tell you.
No, this is quite a
What?
late show, so you can tell us.
Oh, well, what I'd like to do with him,
Yes.
I don't really know.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be investigating Mrs. Doyle's case in depth, and we will come back to it at a later date.
Thank you.
Good night, and thank you from Hospital Watch. Medical Watch. We are outside Dr. Amid's house. Let's see if we can get some reaction about Mrs. Doyle's case. Follow me. Dr. Mead,
Look, what do you want?
we would like to ask you some questions about Mrs. Eileen Doyle's treatment.
I don't want to hear about Mrs. Doyle's treatment.
It's true, you've neglected that woman's eyes. She's blind. She can't see. No, it's too much.
I
You've got-
don't care if you get the Queen's Physican.
Why are you wearing a mask, Dr. Hamid?
Because I do not want to be recognised.
Nobody would want that to your face.
I don't want to be recognised, and that's that.
So have you anything to say about her treatment?
Well, you wouldn't want to. Go.
Look, Dr. Hamid, you've got to answer the question. Have you got anything?
Get out.
Have you anything to say?
No, that's all I have to say. I'm sick of you, sick of your letters, sick of Mrs. Doyle, sick of the Americans.
Well, I mean, we've done our best. So what we'll have to do now is wait outside and see if he will come out. We'll try once more, I think.
Who was that in the picture?
Unfortunately, we couldn't get any response from Dr. Amid. We've been here 3 hours, so I'm afraid we'll have to call it a day. But we will look in further into Mrs. Doyle's case.
Is that snow there?
Yeah.
You not on yet.